Captain Lisa Moran floated in the dim quiet of her cockpit, the only sound the slow beep of dying systems. Outside the cracked viewport, stars hung like frozen sparks in endless black. Her ship, the Iron Sparrow, was dead in space. Not just broken, empty. No engine hum, no life support whir. No chatter from distant stations. Just silence and the cold creeping in through the metal walls. 3 days ago, she had been hauling medical supplies to Outpost Gamma 7, a routine run along the outer rim. Then the scavenger drones hit. They came out of nowhere. Jagged, rusted things built from wreckage and spite. They didn't want to talk. They wanted parts. Lisa fought back with what she had. Old railguns and a prayer. She took out 4 of them, but the 5th latched onto her port thruster and detonated. The blast fried her main reactor and knocked out navigation. Now drifting in a forgotten stretch of space, her oxygen reserves were down to 12%. Food was gone. Water almost gone. Hope was thinner than vacuum. She checked the long-range scanner one last time. Static. Then, a flicker. A tiny anomaly barely visible, a moon. Not on any chart. No signal, no beacon, just a pale gray dot wrapped in a soft glowing mist. It shouldn't be there. The sector was empty, marked as dead space by the Federation, but Lisa had nothing left to lose. With her last bit of battery, she fired the maneuvering thrusters and aimed the Iron Sparrow toward the mystery moon. The descent was rough. The ship groaned as it hit the moon's weak gravity. Alarms blared, then died as power failed completely. Lisa braced herself, teeth clenched as the hull scraped against rock. With a final shudder, the Iron Sparrow settled into a shallow crater tilted to one side. Dust swirled outside, glowing faintly blue in the mist. She suited up, checked her sidearm, empty charge, and stepped onto the surface. The air was thin but breathable, cold and sharp like mountain air at dawn. The ground glittered with strange crystals that pulsed softly as if breathing. In the distance, tall spires rose from the earth, smooth and spiraled like seashells made of glass. They caught the starlight and bent it into rainbows that danced across the ground. And then she saw her. Standing between 2 of the largest spires was a woman, tall, slender, with skin the color of pale birch bark and eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. Her hair flowed around her like strands of moonlight, shifting even when there was no wind. She wore a robe of woven leaves and starlight, simple but glowing with quiet power. At her side, curled like a sleeping cat but the size of a large dog, was a creature Lisa had only seen in myths. Scales black as night, wings folded tight against its back, claws like polished obsidian. Its eyes were closed, but its chest rose and fell steadily. Lisa froze. Her hand went to her hip, then remembered her gun was useless. She raised her palm slowly. The woman turned her head, not with surprise, but as if she had been waiting. "You are late," the woman said. Her voice was calm, clear, and carried like wind through trees. Not loud, but it filled the space between them. Lisa blinked. "Late for what?" "For your arrival," the woman replied. "I felt your ship break. I heard its pain. You have come to the moon of echoes. Few do. Fewer leave." Lisa swallowed. "My ship is dead. I'm stranded. Oxygen's running out." The woman stepped forward. Her bare feet made no sound on the crystal ground. "I can fix it." Lisa's heart jumped. "You can?" "Yes, but not for free." "Of course not," Lisa muttered. "Nothing ever is." The woman smiled faintly. "My name is Lyra. This is Kale." She placed a hand on the creature's head. He opened one eye, amber and deep, like a fire seen through smoke, and gave a soft rumble, not a growl, more like a purr. Lisa stared. "That's a dragon. He is my companion, my protector, my friend." Lyra's gaze returned to Lisa. "I can restore your ship, not just repair it, make it stronger, faster, alive in ways you cannot yet understand." "Why would you do that?" Lisa asked, suspicion rising. "What do you want?" Lyra looked past her, toward the Iron Sparrow, then up at the stars. "Something was taken from me long ago, hidden deep in this moon. I cannot reach it alone. The path is sealed by old magic and newer traps. But you are human. Your kind carries a strange luck. A chaos that bends fate. I need your hands, your courage, your will, and if I say no..." Lyra's expression did not change, but the air grew colder. "Then you will die here. Your ship will become another ghost in the void. Or you can help me and fly again, perhaps even faster than before." Lisa looked back at her broken ship. She thought of the colonies waiting for those medical supplies. She thought of her crew. Just her, really, but still. She thought of home, a tiny blue dot so far away it might as well be a dream. What do I have to do? Lyra's silver eyes softened. Go with me into the heart of the moon. Find the resonant shard. Bring it back to the surface. That is all, and the dragon? Kyle will guide us. He knows the way. He remembers. Lisa hesitated. This sounded like a fairy tale. Or a trap. But what choice did she have? She nodded. All right, I'm in. Lyra extended her hand, not to shake, but palm up as if offering a gift. Lisa took it. Her skin was cool but not cold, and for a moment Lisa felt something strange. A hum like a tuning fork struck inside her bones. The crystals around them glowed brighter. Come, Lyra said. Time does not wait, even here. They walked toward the largest spire. As they neared, a section of the wall shimmered and opened like a flower blooming in reverse. Inside, a tunnel sloped downward, lit by veins of soft blue light running through the stone. Kyle rose smoothly, stretched his wings, wider than Lisa was tall, and padded ahead, tail curling gently behind him. Lisa followed, heart pounding. Every step felt heavier, as if the moon itself was testing her. The air grew warmer, thick with the scent of ozone and something sweet like crushed herbs. The walls pulsed faintly, in time with her heartbeat. You are afraid, Lyra said. Not as a question. Yeah, Lisa admitted. I've never met an elf before, or a dragon, or walked into a magic cave on a ghost moon. Elf is not my word, Lyra said. But it will do. We are the veiled ones, watchers, keepers. Once we sang the stars into balance. Now we are few. What happened? War? Lyra said simply. Betrayal. Silence. They reached a wide chamber. In the center stood a pedestal of black stone, empty. Around it, symbols glowed faintly. Circles within circles, lines that twisted like vines. Kale stopped and sniffed the air, then let out a low warning sound. They are watching, Lyra whispered. Who? The ones who took the shard. They left traps. Not just machines. Memories. Fears. Things that feed on doubt. Lisa tightened her fists. Great. So it's not just a fetch quest. It's a haunted house, too. Lyra almost smiled. You are brave. Or foolish. Perhaps both. I've been called worse. They moved on. The tunnel branched. Kale chose the left path without hesitation. The air grew colder again. Lisa's breath fogged. Then, without warning, the walls vanished. She stood on a cliff, overlooking a vast ocean under twin suns. Waves crashed below, golden and roaring. But it wasn't real. She knew it. She pinched her arm. Pain, real pain. The vision held. This is a memory, Lyra said beside her. Not yours. Mine. Lisa saw a city of glass and light floating above the sea. Figures like Lyra walked its bridges singing. Then fire fell from the sky. Ships, jagged, cruel things, rained destruction. The city shattered. The song stopped. Why show me this? Lisa asked, voice tight. So you understand what we fight. Not for power. For balance. For memory. For those who cannot speak anymore. The vision faded. They were back in the tunnel. Lisa's eyes stung. She wiped them quickly. I'm still in, she said. Lyra nodded. Good. They walked for what felt like hours. Sometimes the path looped. Sometimes it dropped suddenly, forcing them to climb. Kale never faltered. He would pause, tilt his head, then choose a direction. Once he stopped and breathed a small puff of silver mist onto the wall. The stone melted away, revealing a hidden passage. Finally, they reached a massive door. It was made of interlocking rings of metal and crystal, covered in shifting runes. In the center was a handprint, human-sized. It wants your touch, Lyra said. Only a human hand can open it, our kind. We are too bound to the old ways. Your chaos is the key. Lisa stared at the door. This was it. No turning back. She took a deep breath and pressed her palm against the mark. Light flared. The rings spun, clicked, and the door split open with a sigh. Beyond lay darkness, and a faint, steady pulse, like a heartbeat made of light. The shard is near, Lyra whispered. Lisa stepped forward, into the unknown. Behind her, Kale's wings spread slightly, casting long shadows. Lyra followed, her silver eyes fixed on the glow ahead. The iron sparrow waited above, silent and broken. But down here in the heart of the forgotten moon, something ancient stirred, and Captain Lisa Moran, stranded freighter pilot with nothing but grit and a fading oxygen gauge, had just become part of a story far older than humanity. She didn't know it yet, but she wasn't just fixing a ship. She was reigniting a war. And maybe, just maybe, saving more than herself. Olivia stood back and watched as Lyra worked on the damaged quantum drive. The alien woman moved with precise, graceful motions, her fingers dancing across the complex machinery with impossible knowledge. Her silver eyes seemed to see beyond the metal into the very structure of the technology itself. Azurite, the dragon creature, remained outside the ship. His massive body curled around the hull like a protective barrier. "How do you know so much about human technology?" Olivia asked as Lyra extracted a shattered crystal from the drive. Lyra smiled without looking up. "Your people did not create this technology, Commander. You discovered it. The principles of quantum manipulation are universal to all advanced species. That doesn't explain how you know the exact configuration of an Earth vessel," Olivia pressed. Lyra paused her work and met Olivia's gaze. "We have been watching your kind for a very long time. My people have observed many species across the stars. Your humans are particularly interesting to us. Who are your people exactly?" Olivia asked. "You would call us the Sylvani in your tongue, though we have many names across many worlds. Some call us elves based on your Earth mythology. The resemblance is not coincidental." "What does that mean?" Lyra returned to her work inserting one of the glowing crystals she'd brought into the drive housing. "We have visited Earth before in your distant past. We left impressions in your collective memory, myths, legends, tales of magical beings. These stories persist because they contain truth." Olivia frowned. "That seems hard to believe." Lyra made a sound that might have been laughter. "Many truths are. You believe what your experience allows you to believe. Nothing more." The repairs continued throughout the day. Olivia watched carefully, noting how Lyra integrated the alien crystals into the ship's systems. The technology seemed compatible, almost as if it had been designed to work with human equipment. As night fell, Lyra stepped back from the engine core. The quantum drive hummed with new energy, the crystals pulsing with a soft blue light. "The primary systems are repaired," Lyra announced, "but I must still reconfigure your navigation array." "The damage was extensive," Olivia nodded, feeling both grateful and suspicious. She had noticed Lyra adding components that hadn't been part of the original design. "I need to check something," she said, moving toward the bridge. On the bridge, Olivia accessed the ship's diagnostic systems. The quantum drive showed as functional, but there were anomalies in the navigation system. New pathways had been created, new destinations added to the database. Olivia returned to the engine room, her expression hard. "What have you done to my navigation system?" Lyra looked up from her work, her silver eyes unblinking. "I have improved it." "That's not what we agreed to," Olivia said. "You said you'd repair my ship, not modify it." Lyra set down her tools. "The modifications were necessary. The repaired drive would not function with your original navigation system. The crystals require specific calibration." Olivia crossed her arms. "I don't believe you. You're integrating something into my ship? Something you didn't tell me about?" Lyra was silent for a long moment. Then she sighed. "Very well. There is more to my request than simple passage. Tell me everything now." Olivia demanded. Lyra gestured to the viewport where Azurite could be seen keeping watch. Outside the ship, the alien night had fallen. The forest glowed with bioluminescent light. "A fugitive, Commander," Lyra said quietly. "My people, the Sylvani, are ancient. We have guided the development of many species across the galaxy, including yours." "What do you mean?" "Guided? The Sylvani are genetic architects. We help shape promising species. We have influenced human evolution for millennia." Olivia stared at her. "That can't be true." Lyra continued. "We created outposts on your world long before your recorded history. We observed, studied, and occasionally intervened. Your myths about gods and supernatural beings. Many were inspired by encounters with my kind." Olivia shook her head. "But why? Why interfere with our development? Some among my people believe it is our purpose to guide younger species. Others seek to control them. I am what you might call a rebel. I oppose the interference. My people have gone too far. Their manipulations have become too invasive, too controlling, and the dragon Azurite. What is he? Lyra looked out at her companion. He is no mere animal, Commander. He is a biological repository, a living vault containing genetic information from countless species, including complete human genomic data. Olivia took a step back. You stole him. I liberated him, Lyra corrected. The Sylvani Council planned to use the data he carries to implement the next phase of their plan for humanity. A phase that would have made your people little more than servants. How can I believe any of this? Olivia asked. Lyra approached the control panel and placed her hand on it. Images appeared on the screen, images of Earth from centuries ago showing strange structures that shouldn't exist. Beings that looked like Lyra interacting with ancient humans. These records were in your ship's database, she said. I merely unlocked them. Your governments have known about us for generations. The information has been suppressed. The highest levels of your leadership have collaborated with certain factions of my people. Olivia stared at the images, feeling her worldview crumble. These modifications to my navigation system. What do they really do? They will allow us to travel beyond the reach of the Sylvani, Lyra explained. To regions of space they have abandoned, regions where we might find sanctuary. Olivia checked the oxygen monitors. The levels were still dropping despite Lyra's repairs. Why haven't you fixed the life support that comes next? Lyra said. But I wanted you to understand first. This bargain between us, it is more complex than you realized. We are not simply escaping this planet. We are fleeing those who will come looking for me. And for Azurite who will come looking, Olivia asked, the Sentinels. Lyra replied, my former brothers and sisters. They enforce the will of the Council. They will not allow Azurite to leave this world. The genetic information he carries is too valuable, and you waited until now to tell me this, Olivia said, anger rising in her voice. Would you have agreed if I had told you everything at once? Lyra asked. Probably not, Olivia admitted. Then you understand my deception. But know this, Commander. I speak truth now. The Sentinels will come. They will destroy your ship and kill us both to prevent our escape, unless we complete the repairs and leave quickly. Outside, a low growl rumbled from Azurite. The dragon had risen. To his feet, his wings half spread, his eyes fixed on the night sky. What is it? Olivia asked. Lyra moved to the viewport, her expression grim. They are coming sooner than I expected. We must hurry. Who is coming? The Sentinels, Lyra said. They have found us. Olivia looked out at the sky but saw nothing. How do you know? Azurite senses them, Lyra explained as she returned to the engine room. They will arrive by morning. We must have the ship ready by then. Olivia followed her. What happens if we don't? Then we die. Lyra said simply, or worse. They take Azurite and use what he carries to reshape your entire species. Olivia watched as Lyra worked with renewed urgency, her hands moving faster than seemed possible. The ship hummed as systems came back online. One by one, the status indicators changed from red to green. Why should I help you? Olivia asked. I could just turn you over to these Sentinels. Tell them you forced me to help you, Lyra. Paused her work to look at Olivia. The Sentinels do not negotiate, Commander. They do not show mercy. They will not care that you are innocent. They will destroy all evidence of their presence, including you. Outside, Azurite had taken to the air, circling the ship, his powerful wings beating against the night sky. Fine, Olivia said. What do you need me to do? Help me finish the life support repairs, Lyra instructed. And then prepare the ship for launch. We must be ready to fly at first light. Through the night they worked side by side, Lyra showing Olivia technologies she had never seen before. The alien components integrated with the human systems, creating something new, something powerful. As dawn approached, Olivia checked the ship's status. Life support was functioning. Engines were online. The quantum drive hummed with energy. The navigation system showed new star charts, paths through space that no human had ever traveled. Do you think we'll make it? Olivia asked as they finished the final preparations. Lyra looked at her silver eyes gleaming in the dim light of the engine room. If we work together, we have a chance. The Sentinels are powerful, but Azurite and I have evaded them before. Olivia nodded, but there was still doubt in her mind, still questions unanswered. What happens if we do escape? Where will we go to the Elder? Territories, Lyra said. Realms. My people abandoned millennia ago, where the original architects of many species, including humans, might still exist. And then what? Then you will have a choice. Commander, Lyra replied. Return to human space with knowledge that will forever change how your people see themselves, or continue forward with Azurite and me to discover the true origins of life itself. Outside, the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. Azurite landed beside the ship, his massive body tense, his wings folded tight against his scales. He made that strange rumbling sound again, the one that seemed to vibrate inside. Olivia's mind, Lyra looked toward the sky. They are here, she said. We must leave. Now, Olivia moved to the bridge and began the launch sequence. The ship's engines roared to life as the starlight rose from the ground. Olivia saw them. 3 sleek vessels descending from the clouds, each shaped like a silver teardrop glowing with the same strange light as Lyra's crystals. The Sentinels, Lyra whispered. They have found us. Olivia engaged the thrusters, pushing the ship higher. The Sentinel vessels followed, matching their ascent with impossible precision. The quantum drive engaged with a burst of energy more powerful than Olivia had ever experienced. The starlight shuddered, as reality itself seemed to bend around them. Outside the viewport, the stars stretched into long lines of light, then vanished, completely replaced by a swirling vortex of blue and purple energy. This isn't normal quantum travel, Olivia said, gripping the edge of the control panel to steady herself. What have you done to my ship? Lyra stood calmly beside her, silver eyes reflecting. The strange energies outside. I modified the quantum drive to access paths between realities. Paths my people have used for millennia. Where are we going? Beyond the reach of the Sentinels, Lyra replied. For now. A loud thump echoed through the ship. The hull vibrated and a warning alarm blared from the security system. What was that? Olivia asked, reaching for the weapons control. Lyra raised a hand to stop her. It's Azurite. He needs to come aboard, but he's too large. Olivia protested. He won't fit through. The airlock watch, Lyra said, gesturing to the external camera feed. On the screen, Olivia saw the dragon creature hovering outside the main airlock. His massive body seemed to shimmer and then began to change, growing smaller, more compact. His wings folded against his body and his form shifted until he was roughly the size of a large earth dog. Olivia stared in disbelief. What is he? I told you he is a biological repository, Lyra explained. His physical form is adaptable. He can alter his structure. At will, it's how he protects the genetic information he carries. Olivia activated the external airlock. The inner door remained sealed as the outer door opened. Azurite glided inside. The airlock cycled, and then the inner door slid open. The dragon creature stepped onto the bridge, now the size of a large cat. His scales still shimmered with that strange iridescent blue and purple. His eyes still held what looked like galaxies within them. Lyra knelt and stroked his head. He purred a sound that made the air vibrate. How did they find us so quickly? She asked him. Azurite made no sound that Olivia could hear, but Lyra nodded as if listening to a response. What is he saying? Olivia asked. He believes they tracked the unique energy signature of his genetic repository, Lyra said. They may have been monitoring this planet for some time. The ship continued to travel through the strange vortex. Outside the viewport, reality itself seemed fluid, changing color and texture as they moved. How long will this journey take? Olivia asked. Time works differently in the between spaces, Lyra explained. What might seem like hours to us could be days or merely minutes in normal space. Great, Olivia muttered. So we have no idea when we'll arrive or where exactly we're going. We are going to a place of safety, Lyra said. That is all that matters now. Suddenly the ship lurched violently. Alarms blared throughout the vessel. The vortex outside flashed with red energy. What is happening? Olivia demanded. Lyra rushed to the navigation console, her fingers flying across the controls. They followed us, she said, her voice tight with worry. The Sentinels have capabilities I did not anticipate. How is that possible? You said they couldn't follow. Azurite growled, his form expanding slightly, his wings unfolding partially. Lyra looked at him, her expression grim. Yes, she said, as if answering an unspoken question. It seems they have developed new technology since our last encounter. The ship shuddered again, more violently this time. The hull groaned under some invisible pressure. We need to exit the vortex. Olivia said the ship can't take much more of this. If we exit now, they will capture us. Lyra warned. If we stay, we might be torn apart. Olivia countered. Lyra hesitated, then nodded. Very well, but we cannot return to normal space. We must find another refuge. She placed her hands on the navigation console and closed her eyes. The crystals she'd integrated into the ship's systems pulsed with renewed energy. Azurite moved to stand beside her, his eyes glowing with the same light. What are you doing? Olivia asked. Searching for a sanctuary. Lyra replied, her voice strained. We cannot outrun them, but perhaps we can hide. The vortex outside shifted again, the blue and purple energies darkening, becoming almost black with streaks of silver running through them like stars. The ship groaned, but the violent shaking subsided. I have found a place, Lyra said, opening her eyes. A dimensional pocket my people created, long ago. A place between realities. It will shield us from the Sentinel sensors, at least for a time. The starlight surged forward. Then suddenly everything outside went dark. The ship emerged into what looked like a vast empty space. No stars, no planets, nothing but endless blackness. Where are we? Olivia asked, her voice hushed. Lyra guided the ship forward, though there seemed to be no reference points to navigate by. We are in a bubble of reality, separate from the universe, you know, a hiding place. How can there be air here? Gravity light. This place was engineered, Lyra explained. It follows its own rules of physics. My ancestors created several such pockets throughout the cosmos, places where they could conduct experiments, observe other realities, experiments. Olivia repeated. What kind of experiments? Before Lyra could answer, a soft glow appeared in the distance. Something massive taking shape in the darkness. As they drew closer, Olivia could make out what looked like an enormous structure floating in, the Void A station, or perhaps a city. Its architecture was unlike anything she had ever seen. Organic yet clearly artificial, with spiraling towers and curved surfaces that seemed to flow into one another. What is that? Olivia asked. A research outpost, Lyra said. One of many my people abandoned centuries ago when they moved beyond physical form. You mean, they ascended, evolved, transformed? Lyra shrugged. The words do not matter. The result does. My ancestors no longer needed physical laboratories, so they left them. Empty, forgotten. Olivia guided the ship toward the structure. Is it safer than where we were? Lyra said. The Sentinels will not think to look here. These old outposts are forbidden. Knowledge of them is restricted to the highest levels of our society. As they approached the structure, lights began to activate across its surface as if responding to their presence. Docking bays opened, guidance beacons activated. It recognizes Azurite. Lyra explained, the station systems respond to the genetic key he carries. Olivia maneuvered the starlight into one of the docking bays. The ship settled onto a landing platform that seemed to mold itself around the hull, creating a perfect seal. We can disembark, Lyra said. The atmosphere is compatible with human physiology. Olivia checked the external sensors. The readings confirmed Lyra's claim. The air outside was breathable. The gravity slightly stronger than Earth standard, but within tolerable limits. Before we go out there, Olivia said, I want more answers. Why are the Sentinels so determined to capture you and Azurite? What makes you so important? Lyra exchanged a glance with Azurite, who had grown larger again, now the size of a pony. His wings folded against his sides, his tail curled around. His feet. Very well, Lyra said, I owe you the truth, the full truth. She gestured toward the ship's lounge area. Let us sit. This is a long story. In the lounge. Olivia took a seat across from Lyra. Azurite curled up at Lyra's feet, his eyes never leaving Olivia. My people, the Sylvani, have existed for millions of years, Lyra began. We evolved beyond physical limitations early in our development, but instead of ascending completely, we chose a different path. We became caretakers of life throughout the galaxy, gardeners. Olivia suggested. Lyra nodded. That is one way to see it. We seeded countless worlds with life. We guided evolution. We created repositories like Azurite to preserve genetic information. She stroked the dragon's head. When a species shows promise, we study. We sometimes make small adjustments to help it overcome evolutionary hurdles. You tampered with human evolution. Olivia said, her voice hard. Lyra met her gaze. We helped humanity survive several near-extinction events. Yes, we made subtle changes to your brain structure, allowing for advanced cognition. But we were not the only ones influencing your development. What do you mean? Other species had their own agendas for Earth. Lyra explained. Some wanted to use humans as biological resources. Others saw potential for humans to become allies. A few wished to prevent your advancement entirely, fearing what humans might become. This sounds like science fiction, Olivia said. Lyra smiled. Yet here you sit, speaking with an alien inside a dimensional pocket. Reality often exceeds imagination. Commander, fair enough, Olivia conceded. So where do the Sentinels fit into this? The Sylvani are not united in purpose, Lyra said. Over millennia, different factions formed. Some, like the group I belong to, advocated for minimal interference. Allow species to develop naturally with only occasional guidance. Others believe in more direct control. The Council of Elders embraced this philosophy, and the Sentinels, they are the enforcement arm of the Council. Lyra explained. They ensure the Council's will is carried out. They eliminate threats, they retrieve valuable assets like Azurite. Lyra confirmed. The dragon rumbled softly. Lyra placed a hand on his head. He wishes you to understand what he truly is, she said. He is not merely a vessel for genetic information. He is sentient, unique, the last of his kind. What kind is that? The original engineers, Lyra said. The ones who taught my ancestors. The beings who came before, even the Sylvani. Olivia's eyes widened. So, as ancient. Beyond your comprehension. His species created the technology that allows travel between dimensions. The quantum principles your people are only beginning to understand. They mastered billions of years ago. Olivia looked at Azurite with new eyes. The dragon returned her gaze, those cosmic eyes seeming to look into her very soul. But why would he choose to stay with you, she asked. Why not just escape on his own? Lyra moved with purpose, leading Olivia and Azurite from the ship onto the ancient station. The corridors pulsed with soft blue light, responding to their presence. The architecture was unlike anything Olivia had seen before. Walls curved organically. Doorways spiraled open as they approached, surfaces shimmered with what looked like living metal. We must reach the central command hub, Lyra explained as they hurried through the winding passages. How do you know where to go? Olivia asked. The station is enormous. Azurite guides me, Lyra replied. The layout is coded in his genetic memory. The dragon moved ahead of them, his size shifting as they walked, growing larger in the wider spaces, smaller in the narrow corridors. His scales rippled with patterns of light that seemed to communicate with the station itself. Lyra placed her hand on a wall and the surface rippled in response. The Sentinels will breach the outer defenses soon, she said. We must hurry. They reached what appeared to be a transport System A platform that hovered above a tube of shimmering energy. Lyra gestured for them to step onto it. As soon as they were aboard, the platform shot forward at incredible speed. Olivia grabbed a railing to steady herself. The station blurred around them as they traveled deeper into its core. "What exactly is this place?" she asked. "When you said research outpost, I pictured something smaller." "This was more than a simple outpost," Lyra replied. "This was a nexus. A hub connecting multiple realities. A place where my ancestors studied the fundamental nature of existence." "Why was it abandoned?" Lyra exchanged a glance with Azurite. "There was an incident," she said carefully. "An experiment that went wrong. The details are unclear, but it resulted in this entire sector being quarantined. The knowledge of these places was restricted. Only the highest levels of the council retain access to the coordinates." The transport slowed and then stopped before a massive circular door. The surface was covered in intricate patterns that glowed with inner light. Azurite approached the door, his body expanding until he was nearly the size of the entrance. His scales flashed in complex sequences. The patterns on the door responded, glowing brighter. The massive barrier began to spiral open, revealing a vast chamber beyond. "The command center," Lyra said. They entered a circular room with a domed ceiling. The walls were lined with control interfaces that glowed with soft light. In the center was a raised platform, surrounded by what looked like holographic displays, though the technology seemed far more advanced than any hologram Olivia had seen. "The Sentinels have breached the outer defense perimeter," Lyra announced, reading information from one of the displays. "We have little time. What do we do?" Olivia asked. "You must interface with the weapon systems," Lyra said. "Your human neural patterns will confuse the Sentinels. They will not expect a human to control Sylvani technology." "And how exactly do I do that?" Lyra guided her to one of the control interfaces. "Place your hands here," she instructed. Olivia hesitated, then pressed her palms against the glowing surface. The material felt warm, almost alive. It yielded slightly to her touch. Then suddenly, information flooded into her mind. She gasped as images, data, concepts poured through her consciousness. She could see the station in its entirety, its systems, its capabilities, its weapons. She could sense the approaching Sentinel vessels, feel their energy signatures. "It's too much?" she gasped, trying to pull away but finding herself unable to move. "Focus," Lyra said, her voice seeming to come from far away. "You must direct the defense system's target." The lead vessel. Olivia tried to concentrate on the task. The flood of information was overwhelming, but gradually she found she could navigate through it. With an effort of will, she accessed the weapon systems. Ancient technologies beyond human understanding responded to her commands. On the holographic display, she could see energy, building in massive cannons that extended from the station's outer ring. The weapons locked onto the lead Sentinel ship fire. Lyra ordered. Olivia released the energy. A beam of brilliant white light lanced out from the station, striking the Sentinel vessel. The ship shuddered, its shields flaring. Then, to Olivia's shock, the beam seemed to be absorbed. The energy redirected back toward the station. "Look out," she cried. The redirected energy struck the outer defense ring. The station shook with the impact. Alarms blared throughout the command center. "They adapted," Lyra said grimly. "Their shields are designed to absorb and redirect energy weapons." The remaining Sentinel vessels spread out surrounding the station, their hulls glowing with building energy. "We need another approach," Olivia said, still connected to the station systems. Lyra turned to Azurite. The dragon had positioned himself on the central platform, his body now nearly transparent, his scales revealing complex patterns of light and energy. "Beneath it is time," Lyra said to him. Azurite growled, and the sound resonated through the chamber. The platform beneath him began to glow, responding to his presence. "What is he doing?" Olivia asked. "Accessing the station's deeper systems," Lyra explained. "There are defenses beyond what you can see. Protections put in place by the original builders." The dragon began to change again, his form expanding, growing more ethereal. His wings spread until they seemed to pass through the solid walls of the chamber. His eyes blazed with internal light. Olivia felt a shift in the information flowing through her mind. New systems coming online. Ancient weapons awakening, Outside the station, massive structures began to unfold. Crystalline arrays emerged from hidden compartments, energy built within them, not the same kind that had been redirected, but something different, something older. The Sentinels detected the change. Their vessels began to move, taking evasive action, but they were too slow. From the crystalline arrays, pulses of energy erupted, not beams but spheres of condensed force. They moved with impossible speed, striking the Sentinel vessels. The ship's shields flared, trying to absorb and redirect the energy. But this force was different. It bypassed their defenses, striking the vessels directly. Two of the ships shuddered, their hulls rippling as the energy disrupted their very structure. But the lead vessel, the largest of the three, managed to evade the worst of the attack. It returned fire, lancing beams of energy striking the station repeatedly. The command center shook violently. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. Olivia was thrown from the interface, her connection to the station severed. She hit the floor hard, rolling to avoid a falling section of ceiling. Lyra, help Azurite, she called out. The dragon was still on the central platform, his form now completely ethereal. His energies intertwined with the station's systems. Lyra moved to the platform, placing her hands on what remained of Azurite's physical form. Silver energy flowed from her fingers into the dragon. What are you doing? Olivia asked, climbing to her feet. Helping him maintain connection, she replied. The strain is enormous, even for one like him. Outside, the two damaged Sentinel vessels had withdrawn, retreating to a safe distance. But the lead ship continued its assault, focusing its weapons on a single section of the station. They are targeting the dimensional anchors, Lyra said, her voice strained. If they sever the station's connection to this pocket reality, we will be cast into the void. Can we stop them? Not with conventional weapons, Lyra said. They are too well defended. But there is another way. The ship, Olivia said suddenly, the realization coming to her from the fragments of station data still lingering in her mind. We can use the starlight, yes, Lyra confirmed. The modifications I made to your quantum drive. We can create a resonance cascade, a feedback loop in the dimensional fabric that would destroy the station. Olivia protested, and probably us with it. Not if we time it correctly, Lyra said. We need only disrupt their attack long enough to escape to where the Sentinels found us here. They can find us anywhere. Not anywhere, Lyra corrected. There is one place. They cannot follow a place even the Council fears, where the void. Between, Lyra said. The space that exists outside all realities. The place where the original engineers fled when their civilization collapsed. You want to take us there? Olivia asked, incredulous. Is our only hope. Azurite knows the way. But we must act quickly. The station cannot withstand much more. Another violent impact shook the command center. More systems failed. Alarms blared throughout the structure. We need to get back to the ship, Olivia said. There is no time for conventional travel, Lyra replied. She turned to Azurite, who was still merged with the station systems. Hold on to me, she instructed. Olivia grasped Lyra's arm. The elf woman placed her other hand on Azurite's ethereal form. The world dissolved around them. Olivia felt a sensation of falling, of being unmade and then remade. In an instant, they were standing in the bridge of the Starlight, the ship still docked within the station. How did we? Olivia began. No time, Lyra. Cut her off. The station is failing. We must initiate the resonance cascade and then jump immediately. Olivia moved to the control console, activating the ship systems. The quantum drive hummed to life. The crystals Lyra had installed pulsing with energy outside. Another impact rocked the station. The docking clamps holding the Starlight in place shuddered. Azurite resumed a more solid form, though still smaller than his original size. He positioned himself between Lyra and the quantum drive, his body glowing with the same energy as the crystal set coordinates for the following sequence, Lyra instructed, rattling off a series of numbers and symbols that Olivia did not recognize. These aren't normal space coordinates, Olivia said as she input the sequence. They are not meant for normal space, Lyra replied. The ship computer processed the strange coordinates. The navigation display showed not a point in space. When Azurite touched his forehead to hers, Olivia's world exploded into visions. Images flooded her mind faster than she could process them. She saw Earth not as it was now, but as it had been billions of years ago. She saw the first microbes not evolving naturally, but being seeded, placed in the primordial oceans by beings of light and energy. She saw the rise and fall of species extinctions and rebirths, all guided, all directed, not by the Sylvani, but by something older, something vast. The original, engineers as Lyra called them, creatures that existed beyond physical form yet could shape matter at will. She saw humanity's true lineage, the deliberate mutations, the carefully guided evolution, the genetic potential hidden within human DNA waiting to be unlocked. Capabilities beyond what any human had ever imagined, and she saw the purpose, the reason for humanity's creation. Not to serve as Lyra had suggested, but to inherit, to become the next caretakers of life in the galaxy. Once they had fully awakened to their potential, the visions shifted. She saw the Sylvani not as they appeared now, but as they had been at the beginning. Another created species. Another experiment. Some had embraced their role as caretakers. Others had sought to become controllers. The schism that had led to the Council and its opponents, she saw Azurite and his kind, the repositories of knowledge, the living libraries containing the genetic codes of countless species, including the original engineers themselves, and, finally, she saw the void between the space outside realities, and within it a realm of pure thought, pure energy, where the last of the original engineers had fled when their physical forms could no longer contain their evolving consciousness. Azurite pulled back. The visions faded. Olivia gasped, collapsing to her knees, overwhelmed by what she had seen. That can't be true," she stammered. "It is," Lyra said, kneeling beside her. "All of it. The Council has hidden the truth for millennia. They fear what would happen if species like yours discovered their true potential." Azurite made a soft rumbling sound. His wings folded back against his body. "He says you are ready to understand now." Lyra translated. "The knowledge he shared will continue to unfold within your mind as you are able to comprehend it." Olivia stood shakily, looking out at the featureless void outside the ship. "If what Azurite showed me is true, then humanity is meant for more than we ever imagined." "Yes," Lyra said. "And that is precisely what the Council fears. Why they seek to control your development. Limit your potential." The ship drifted through the strange emptiness of the void between no stars, no planets, no light except what came from within the vessel itself. Yet somehow Olivia sensed movement, a direction, a purpose. "Azurite has begun to guide us." Lyra explained. "He senses a thin place, a point where we can cross into the realm of the original engineers." "How long will it take?" Olivia asked. "Time has little meaning here," Lyra said. "It could be moments or days from your perspective." As they traveled, Olivia continued to explore the ship's database, finding more hidden information. Secrets that had been kept from humanity for centuries. According to these records, she said, "My mission wasn't just exploration. Admiral Nash sent me to that specific sector, deliberately." Lyra examined the files Olivia had found. "Yes," she said, "I suspected as much. The planet where we met. It was a monitoring station, a place where the Council observed multiple realities, so Nash knew I would crash there. It is likely she arranged for the meteor storm that damaged your ship." Lyra said. "Nash may have been testing you, evaluating your potential as a new conduit." The thought made Olivia feel sick. The Admiral had been her mentor, had recruited her personally for the exploration division. Had she merely been grooming Olivia to become another pawn of the Sylvani Council? Outside the viewport, the emptiness of the void began to change. Subtle patterns appeared, in the nothingness. Flowing currents of energy barely visible. "We approached the crossing point." Lyra said. "Azurite has found the way." The dragon stood at the front of the bridge, his form growing more ethereal again. His wings spread wide, seeming to phase. Through the solid walls of the ship, his eyes blazed with internal light. "Prepare yourself," Lyra warned. The transition can be disorienting. Olivia secured herself in the command chair, activating the ship's stabilization systems, though she doubted they would help much in this strange place beyond normal physics. Azurite began to glow brighter, his form becoming pure energy. That energy extended outward, connecting with the patterns in the void outside. The ship shuddered as reality itself seemed to bend around them. The transition, when it came, was both sudden and gradual. Olivia felt as if she were being turned inside out, her consciousness expanding beyond her body, then snapping back. The viewport filled with blinding light, then absolute darkness. Then slowly a new reality took shape. Outside was not the emptiness of space nor the swirling energies of the quantum vortex, but something altogether different. A vast realm that seemed to be composed of thought itself. Structures that could not exist in normal space rose in impossible geometries. Colors that had no names flowed like rivers between them. Beings of pure light moved through this strange landscape. The realm of the original engineers. Lyra whispered, her voice filled with awe. The ship drifted forward, guided by Azurite, whose body now pulsed in rhythm with the energies outside. No conventional propulsion seemed necessary here. Intention was enough. Olivia stared in wonder at the impossible landscape. It was beautiful and terrifying. A reality, operating under completely different rules. We are being approached, Lyra said. Outside, several of the light beings had noticed the ship. They moved toward it, not flying, but simply shifting their position in space as if distance were optional. Azurite growled softly, his form solidifying again, though still glowing with inner light. They recognize him, Lyra explained. They know what he is, who he is. The beings surrounded the ship, their light penetrating the hull as if it were not there. Olivia felt a presence in her mind, a consciousness vast and ancient touching her thoughts. They are curious about you, Lyra said. They have not encountered a human before. At least not one who has come here physically. Can they be trusted? Olivia asked. More than my people, Lyra replied. The original engineers have no interest in control. They seek only to observe, to understand. The light beings communicated not in words, but in concepts, ideas that formed directly in Olivia's mind. They offer a sanctuary, Lyra translated. They recognize Azurite as one of their creations. They know of the Council's actions and they disapprove, but they will not interfere directly. That is their law. So what happens now? Olivia asked. We have choices, Lyra said. We can remain here in safety. The original engineers will protect us from the Council, but we would be observers only. We could never return to our own realities, or we can use the knowledge Azurite carries, the capabilities your ship now possesses. We could return to warn your people, to prepare them for what is coming. What is coming? War, Lyra said simply. The Council knows human potential is on the verge of awakening. They will not allow it to happen naturally. They will attempt to redirect your evolution, force humanity to develop along paths they control, and those who resist will be eliminated. The light beings moved closer. Their presence in Olivia's mind grew stronger. She felt them examining her, showing her possible futures. In one, humanity was enslaved. Not with chains, but with subtle manipulations. Genetic alterations, technological dependencies, social structures designed to limit independent thought. Humans became servants, believing themselves free, never realizing their development had been stunted, their potential locked away. In another, humans fought back against the Council, a desperate struggle against a vastly superior force. Many died. Worlds were destroyed. But in the end, humanity prevailed, emerging stronger, awakening abilities that had lain dormant in their DNA, becoming something new, something powerful. And in a third, humans and Sylvani rebels like Lyra worked together, finding a middle path. Neither submission nor open war, but subtle resistance, education, preparation, the slow awakening of humanity's potential, guided not by the Council, but by those who believed in freedom, The light beings withdrew. The visions faded. Olivia found herself back on the bridge of the Starlight. Lyra and Azurite, watching her expectantly, saw. Lyra asked, "I saw possibilities." Olivia replied, "Not certainties." "That is all any of us can see." Lyra said, "The future is not fixed. It is shaped by choices, by actions." Outside, the impossible landscape continued to shift and flow. The light beings kept their distance, now waiting. "We must decide," Lyra said. "We cannot remain in this transitional state for long. Either we stay or we return. If we return, the Sentinels will find us again," Olivia pointed out. "Yes," Lyra acknowledged, "but we will not be unprepared. Your ship has been transformed by its journey here. The quantum drive now has capabilities beyond what the Council has developed. Azurite has shared knowledge that has been hidden for millennia, and you think that's enough to fight the Council? Not to fight," Lyra corrected. "To evade, to hide, to prepare others. We would be messengers, not warriors." Azurite growled, his wings spreading wide. His eyes locked with Olivia's. "He has made his choice." Lyra said, "He wishes to return to complete the purpose for which he was created. To share the knowledge he carries with those who can use it." "And you?" Olivia asked. "What do you want?" Lyra smiled. "I have been running for so long I had forgotten what it was to have purpose, to believe in something greater than survival. Now I remember the original engineers created my people to be caretakers, not controllers. I wish to honor that original purpose, to help restore balance."